Hello everyone, how are you all? Welcome back to Sunya IAS guys. I hope you all are doing really great, and we are continuing in our MAD series, that is means article discussion series. Specifically, we are focusing on the mains topic over here that are not overlapped with the prelims, right? So this is the mains article discussion series. Under this, I am taking your this particular part, that is moral thinkers and philosophers around the world. Now, I have already started this series on moral thinkers and philosophers around the world. Basically, I have covered already 4 parts in this. That is Aristotle, that is Socrates, Plato, Aristotle, and your Thomas Aquinas. So those people who are coming directly for the first time in this particular video, I would request them to see the previous parts first. Then only you will be able to make the connection between the videos, guys. Okay? And those of you who are liking the videos, who want this series to continue, please do like and subscribe, right? And comment too, so that I can know that you are connected with me. So in this particular lecture, we are continuing. But before starting again, in the starting, I'm saying that this particular line is written in which part of the syllabus? It is written in GS4 ethics, right? This ethics, integrity, and aptitude. Over here, you will find this particular syllabus over here, this particular subtopic over here, from which 2 to 3 questions come every year, right guys? So already you will see that we have covered Socrates, Plato, Aristotle, Thomas Aquinas, and in this particular part, that is part number 5, I'll be doing the Machiavelli, guys. Very important. अब यहाँ से thinking में आप change देखने वाले हो. देखो, I hope I am making connection of your knowledge, whatever I'm teaching you, right? And in an exam oriented way. So over here we have seen that during the ancient time, that is during 5th century BC, 4th century BC, you can say during the 600 to 300 BC around, there were scholars like द वेस्टर्न स्कॉलर्स की बात कर रहा हूँ. इंडियन स्कॉलर्स में तो तब उस टाइम पे कौन कौन एग्जिस्ट कर रहे थे? बुद्धा, महावीर, चाणक्य लेटर ऑन, राइट? सो ओवर हियर यू नो दैट in the western over here, Socrates were there, Plato, and Aristotle was existing in this time. इनका हमने क्रक्स समझने की कोशिश करी, right? 2-3 words on any of them. और आपको पता है, the way we are studying so that we can know the crux of these philosophers. We are not studying them for the optional point of view like philosophy, sociology, political science, but for the ethics point of view, right? Then we have come to the medieval times, or Thomas Aquinas is of the medieval time, you can say. And in medieval time, during the 13th century AD, you were finding Thomas Aquinas. And then in the point of time of medieval to modern में जब आप transition देखोगे, during the 17th century, during the 1600s onwards, AD onwards, you will find now Machiavelli and Thomas Hobbes. Machiavelli and Thomas Hobbes, right? So this we have already covered: Thomas Aquinas, Socrates, Plato, Aristotle. Why I am telling you this? Because I have always focused upon time and space, कि कौन से time में कौन exist कर रहा था. Machiavelli is come in the 1600 AD, and in India simultaneously what was happening in 1600 AD? Decline of Mughal Empire, or you can say Mughal Empire was just starting, and in 1707 Mughal Empire started declining and the coming up of Britishers, guys. That means modern time was starting, right? So Machiavelli, we have to understand that where, first of all, as usual, the time period he was existing, guys. No need to remember, but you should have the rough guess that 16th, 17th century he was existing. 17th century AD, right? So Machiavelli is not 17th century, guys. Really sorry. He was existing in 1469 to 1527. So basically he was in the 16th century onwards. 16th century he was existing. And he is also known as the child of Renaissance. Renaissance, Western Renaissance was happening. Indian Renaissance in the time period of 19th century, Raja Ram Mohan Roy ke time pe, then there are several reformers came. That was the Renaissance in Indian sphere. But in the Western sphere, you will see Renaissance happening in 13th, 14th century or 14th, 15th century onwards. Renaissance की वजह से हुआ क्या? That we were more focusing upon the reasoning, right? We were not focusing only upon the basically religion, because in medieval part you will see a lot of religionism has come into place, right? A lot of, you will say, superstitious things have taken place in the name of religion. So you can say age of science developed during this time period, and this reasoning has led to the growth of modern age of science, right? So with modern age has led because of reasoning, because over here you will see industrialization also will be starting taking place in another 100-200 years. So this was the time of Machiavelli, guys. Now Machiavelli is important, very, very important in the field of philosophy, in the field of political science, in the field of sociology, mostly in the field of political science, because he was the man who separated religion, ethics, and politics. He separated that religion and ethics should not be applied to politics. Politics is a different ball game. You should not apply normal ethics to the politics, guys. That means he separated this. Whereas during the Plato's time, we have seen that ethics is interrelated with the politics only, because the how human will behave, it will tell us that how they should be governed, right? But he said that the norms which we are utilizing in politics should not be measured upon the normal ethics which we are utilizing in the normal sphere. That means he was granting the permissions to do anything one can do, that Sam Dand Bhed, Sam Dam Dand Bhed in politics, right? And this Sam Dam Dand Bhed, you have heard that this same philosophy has been preached by Chanakya. Whereas Machiavelli's one statement is very famous, guys, that ends justifies the means. Means your end should be met. And this politics ethics, he applied this, that ends justify the means. You have to achieve your goal, whatever means you apply to, then only you will be successful. And he says that don't judge it by the religion parameter and the ethical parameters. In politics, whatever we have to do, we will do in order to achieve the numbers or in order to achieve the position. So as per from one angle, if you will see, then he is immoral basically. But from another level, another angle, if you will see, some of the debaters, some of the scholars supported this, because Chanakya was also saying this, that you cannot be a weak ruler. A ruler must hold the power, right? And you have to hold the power once, if your ends are met, if you won the war, then nobody will question you. But if you have lost the war, everybody will question you. So Machiavelli in this Western philosopher list has been considered as the realist, that he was talking about the real world problems, whereas Plato was talking about ideal world, whereas if everything is perfect, right? So kahin na kahin both of them was having different perspective on human nature. कहीं ना कहीं उनका ह्यूमन नेचर को लेके कुछ ना कुछ तो प्रॉब्लम, कुछ ना कुछ तो डिफरेंट होगा, राइट? So we will be trying to compare like Plato and Machiavelli on human nature, guys. So Plato used to say that human nature is inherently good. We are driven by the kingdom of God, because soul has been in kingdom of God and they know what is right. So human nature inherently is very much good, right? So Plato has positive about human beings, guys, whereas Machiavelli is somewhat negative. Machiavelli gave his understanding on human nature by history, by studying history, and he used to say that history is important. Rather than teaching the student philosophy, you should teach them history, because history will make them learn something from the mistakes of their past. But philosophy is about the future, how you should be, ought to be. History. And then he also understanding by observing the human nature. Again, humans, you can judge humans from your space, guys, the people you are revolved around. So it is always partial, right? You cannot say that this is right. So Machiavelli in his own times, how humans were behaving, because Machiavelli in the time period, Italy was divided. If you will see, this is Italy was very divided into 5 kingdoms, guys. 1400, 1500, you will see. Then later on, Renaissance in Italy came, the unification of Italy happened, right? So Italy was divided. Machiavelli was also a great patriot, and he was also trying to understand that why this is happening. So he was observing human nature too and history too, and gave his views on human nature which we should know. And all of this information he used to say that he used to give in his book known as The Prince. This book is for those who want to be in power, who want to rule. They have to understand the human nature too, right? So as per Machiavelli, you will find he was saying that human nature is selfish, coward, fickle-minded, ungrateful, fearful, and avaricious. So this is as per his understanding of human nature, whereas Plato never said that. Plato is saying that inherently human beings are good because they have been in the kingdom of God. They have seen good things. Now that's why we are inclined towards doing the good thing. Plato, Aristotle, Socrates, Thomas Aquinas were having this mindset. They were putting God as in the superior position. Machiavelli is saying that no, human nature is selfish. They work in their interest. They are coward, fickle-minded, ungrateful, fearful, and avaricious. He is suggesting his prince, the ruler. वो कह रहा है कि राजा जो भी बनना चाहता है, जो भी राजा बनना चाहता है, he should know that human nature is selfish. Means a man is working or is following orders because of his own interest. Until his interests are met, he will follow you. Once his interests are not met, he will not follow you. He will change his mind. That's why the man is also fickle-minded and ungrateful. He is not grateful for the things which have done by the prince or whoever has done for him. So man is basically selfish. That's why he is ungrateful, and that's why he is fickle-minded, because once the interests are not met, then he will change his mind. So he is asking the prince that never take your supporters for granted. They can change the mind once your objectives are not, or once their interests are not met. So he is telling, once you cannot say that all human beings are having this kind of nature, right? So he's talking about one lot of human nature, but he's thinking that human nature is like that only. A prince has to keep this in mind, right? Those who are good, obviously they are going to be remembered like this, but prince has to keep these people in mind that the man is basically selfish, and then because of his selfish nature, he's ungrateful too, fickle-minded too, and this is making his coward too. So he is telling prince that man is selfish. These are important words, guys. I'm not writing it for fun. Selfish, that's why he is ungrateful, that's why he is fickle-minded, and this fickle-mindedness will cause the prince to fall down. So he is asking his prince, beware of these type of people, guys. Beware of the man, because they are selfish, ungrateful, fickle-minded, and they will no longer be supporting you. So never take a man granted, right? Also, he's saying that other quality of human nature is that they are inherently coward. So they are fearful. So he is asking this prince that utilize this nature of human nature, that human nature is coward, fearful. So utilize this particular human nature. You, by your policy, by your decisions, you make them feel that the only man who can protect them is you. He's asking the prince to do so. कहना चाह रहा है, अगर आप पावर होल्ड करना चाहते हो तो इंसान को बताओ कि तुम्हें प्रोटेक्ट करने वाला सिर्फ मैं ही हूं. That is prince. So these are the qualities he wrote down in his book, The Prince Who Want to Acquire Power, right? So it is similar like Chanakya's Arthashastra. Chanakya was way back in 3rd, 4th, 5th century. Still, by the Western philosophers, he is being said that Chanakya is Indian Machiavelli. Though we should have said it that Machiavelli is Indian Chanakya, because Chanakya was way before, has written all this way before. Chanakya not only written but also implemented by finding Chandragupta Maurya and establishing Akhand Bharat, guys, right? So we should be proud of it, right? So coward and fearful, that's why this quality of human nature a prince should utilize in his favor. समझ रहे हो? And third quality which he is saying that human nature is avaricious. Avaricious मतलब क्या होता है ये? This can come in your synonyms in English paper in GS. Avaricious means extremely greedy. Man is by nature extremely greedy. So do you think all people are like that? No. He's giving his understanding of human nature in his time period. Are you understanding? The time is changing, the people are changing. He's saying that these particular men are extremely greedy. So he's asking the prince to make certain conditions so that man can make money. You try to understand, guys, in this time also same thing is happening. The company which is offer you good, you are changing the place like this, you're changing the site in the name of good packages which are being offered by company. Are you being loyal to any company? You will say that they are not loyal towards the company's boss or the company's owner, or stuff not are utilizing us, right? So you are making your own reasons. But this is what Prince basically, Machiavelli is talking about the real world problems, whereas Plato was talking about the idealistic world problems, or you should follow a kingdom of God. Whereas that's why in the history or in these in this particular Western political thinkers, Machiavelli is the most criticized one, right? And Machiavelli, if we say someone Machiavelli, then it is like in a negative connotation, that we are taunting him, that like he is a very clever person, right? Machiavelli, जैसे हम बोलते हैं चाणक्य नीति, चाणक्य also for जिनका दिमाग ज्यादा तेज चलता है, right? So utilize this quality also. If you can provide certain condition where men can make money, buy property, then they will be supporting you. And the same thing is happening right now also. You want your prime minister to boost the economy. If economy will be boosting, employment will be generating, people will be happy and prosperous. The same thing is said by Machiavelli too. Okay, simpler to understand. But you are understanding the Western philosophers, how their thinking about human nature is changing. Okay. So certain scholars you will see, but we don't have to see because we are studying it from the ethical point of view, not for political science option, not for sociology option, not for philosophy options. If you would have understanding from the optional point of view, then you will understand that there are certain scholars who are debating this particular point, criticizing this Machiavelli. They are saying that Machiavelli has given a very pessimistic view of human nature, right? That is what I'm saying too. But any question will come, you have to think that how Machiavelli was thinking in his times. ठीक है, हम इस चीज के लिए पढ़ रहे हैं इसको. So this is on human nature. Machiavelli on you can say his statements ends justify the means, whereas Gandhiji was just opposite of that. That he was saying that focus on the means. You should not. It is not important how we have met the objective. It is important how we have gone towards the objective, and justifies the means. As per Machiavelli, Machiavelli was saying that you should keep ethics and religion out. You should keep ethics and religion out of politics. You cannot judge the political action on ethical basis or religion basis, right? So this ethics should be kept out. The religion should be kept out. He is saying that the prince should meet the objective, meet the ends, because if the ruler has not met the ends and has compromised the ends, then he has compromised the national interest. So he has kept that in politics, you have to keep national interest in front. You should not compromise the ends in order to justify the means. So the actions which are ethically wrong can be politically correct, right? और ये line basically Machiavelli में जिस वे में बोला था, he was saying that national interest को आप हार्म नहीं करोगे, लेकिन यही लाइन लोगों ने अपनी सहूलियत के लिए यूज करना शुरू कर दिया. That I have done wrong, I have murdered few people in order to get into power and everything is fair. Some people are using this particular thing in a wrong way, so they are utilizing you can say criminal means to acquire power, illegal means to acquire power. So this is not to justify it, and they justify it by the Machiavellian statement, guys, right? He's also suggested his ruler, the prince. He suggested him that it is better to be feared than loved. He is saying that log tumse डरे वो ज़्यादा बेहतर है than to be loved. Why he is saying that? He is saying that for the ruler only, because he is understanding as per human nature, people are coward, and when they are coward, they are fearful, and the prince has to see that only the security provided over here is the prince only, so they will respect you and they will love you, right? So it is for the management of power, how you will do the power management. So you are understanding that whenever a statement will come on Machiavelli, you have to focus upon certain things right, like Machiavelli's view on human nature, which is very pessimistic, which is not, you cannot say that directly pessimistic, but it was according to his times how people were behaving that time. All right. So virtue, human nature, and qualities of the prince you have understood over here. So this is it in Machiavelli, guys. Just study fix for the ethical point of view, from the ethics questions. You should not study much more about it in lengths like the students who are studying for socio, PSIR, and philosophy, right? Because it is not an optional. You're studying it for one question, two question, which are going to come, right? And the question will come in the form of statement, any statement of Machiavelli, and then Machiavelli will be written. You have to understand Machiavelli's mindset, and now you have got certain keywords, guys. So already we have covered Socrates, Plato, Aristotle, then Thomas Aquinas in the last lecture, that is part number 4. And right now we have covered Machiavelli, guys. In the 6th part we will be covering Thomas Hobbes. ठीक है, जो आगे बढ़ते जा रहे हैं तो पीछे का मत भूलना. Keep short notes about them, then only you will be able in a position to cover this particular statement of the topic, guys. All right, guys, thank you so much. I'll meet you in the next lecture.